One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Hello. I have to adjust my speakers real quick or I won't be able to hear you. So, bingo, we're set to go. Whew, barely got set in time. But we got a lucky thing to tell you. It wasn't me this time. President Trump has pushed back his speech till 4:15, which is okay. It's only 4:03 right now, so I can fill some time. I'm glad you guys all could make it. Got some news I can bring to you. Some pretty good news. All right, let's talk about this real quick because this is something that just came off the press a little while ago. And it says, Kash Patel, now working with the Justice Department and Attorney General Pam Bondi, I can now report the FBI and our partners have arrested 2 individuals on charges of operating an international child exploitation enterprise. This is a significant case in our renewed mission to crack down on child exploitation, heinous crimes that no child or parent should ever be faced with. We believe these 2 individuals are leaders within a violent online network known as 764, which often targets minors. They will now face justice. Just take them out back and put them down like dogs. Thank you to all who assisted. This FBI will never stop working to pursue, find, and bring justice to those who harm children. So many of us who have been completely disgusted by what Joe Biden ignored, actually many presidents have ignored for quite some time, the abuse of children and women. Looks like something is actually going to be happening in this administration in terms of trying to crack down on that. I have no patience for it, none whatsoever. Republican, Democrat, Independent, black, white, I don't care who you are. If you're abusing children and women, you need to be put down like a dog. That's how I feel about it. I don't know if you were here for the cabinet meeting, but this was very interesting, dovetailing off of what you just heard. RFK Jr. just announced that Biden's HHS was complicit. Conspiracy theorists were right again. Under Biden, this is a quote from RFK Jr., HHS became a collaborator in this child trafficking business. We're aggressively going out and finding these 300,000 kids that were lost by the Biden administration. That was a bombshell that you won't hear the media talk about at all. They'll completely ignore it. It's like it never even was said. It's like it never happened. But finally, we have somebody who's going to be working on going after these people who are doing this to kids, and hopefully find as many of those kids that will still hopefully be here. All right, so I'm checking the video stream. He has not come out as of yet, so I'm going to continue. So something else happened in between shows. Somebody texted me, and I was quite shocked. But I want to lead into it with this video. It's only 3 minutes of stuff. Actually, here, just watch this.
How many views do you think CNN got in prime time, 3-hour segments every day for 1 week in May?
5 million maybe, I don't know.
83,000. Lowest level of all time. Fox, the highest, was 186,000. Think about what is happening right in front of us. The media is no longer actually reaching the masses because they've lost complete trust with them. In fact, 30-year-olds have more trust in you, social media influencers, than they do the mainstream media. That is what I am seeing right in front of us, is we're like, show me what's real, because I do not trust puppets who parrot things from teleprompters. They know that you and I are having a real conversation. There's no teleprompter in sight. When you look at your notes, you look at your notes. It's real. And I think that is what I'm realizing with our message. We have to be honest, because nobody trusts anybody right now.
I saw that, and I'm like, ooh, man, that's huge. I know it to be true, obviously. I see it all the time, and that is a motivator to be as honest as you possibly can, because one of the things that I've told you many a times here, I wasn't interested in building a, quote, audience. I wanted to build a community. I think we've been pretty successful in that regard. I don't call myself an influencer, but I feel very comfortable in saying we've built a community here. And that community, even when people jump in like they did this morning, as people came in and they watched the cabinet, they're like, this is a different kind of a chat. These people all know each other and they're talking to me. They're not just, yes. See, that's the part, having worked in social media for so long, in advertising and marketing for so many big brands, I used to preach that to my clients. Don't talk at people, talk to them. Engage in the conversation. One thing I used to say many times, if you're not in the conversation, it doesn't stop the conversation. And what I meant from a brand perspective is, just because you're not listening doesn't mean they're not talking about you. So wouldn't you want to be in the conversation as a brand to know what they're saying about you? I'm like, and I would convince people that that's what they needed to do on social media. And I've continued that myself. I try to talk to people and engage with them as if I'm having a sit-down conversation with them. And when you meet me, if you can make it to our meetup, you'll see I'm the same guy. I'm no different in person. Maybe a little bit shyer, maybe a little bit more reserved, Robin tells me. But yeah, actually, imagine that. Imagine being more reserved in person than you are in front of talking to people. But I just look at the camera. I don't feel like nobody else is in here. But then when I get to know you, yeah, I'm just verbose and just keep going. So I've been telling you guys something. Many of you may have heard it from me the very first time, when I have been saying to everybody, get ready for what's coming. You are the media. And you need to understand how powerful your messaging can be. And then I've also said, you need to skate where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is. Understand what's out there. 6 months, a year down the road, and prepare for that. And I talked to you about AI. So I've got 2 things to show you that underscore what I've been saying. And one of them, I'm like, has he been watching my stuff? Has he been watching what I've been saying? You know, we did interview him, and Ashley, when she gets back, we're going to try and get him back on again. But General Michael Flynn posted something very, very interesting. Let me share that with you real quick. This went up to today at 2:26 p.m. It is so over. And the mainstream media deserves every bit of it. Digital soldiers, social media influencers are the new media. Grok, get ready. How to live in the world of AI is what's next. Always skate for where the puck will be, not where it's at. And I was like, oh. Is General Flynn also, he was a guest on the show, but is he also watching my stuff? And it says CNN and others lost sight of the truth. Sight, S-I-T-E. That's where the puck is heading, and it never misses. And he links to a video which I just showed you. The general has pulled rank on me, as a friend of mine said. He pulled rank and took my saying. Well, actually, I took it from Wayne Gretzky, so I cannot take full credit for that because it came from Wayne Gretzky. But it was just very interesting that General Michael Flynn, who many of us who are Trump supporters definitely admire, just said what I've been telling you. Okay. All right. So with all that being said, I want to show you this next piece of that video. And I've had so many people complain about my AI show I did the other day and my real estate and business talk. But at the same time, I was so happy as a black man. I was so happy because so many people are like, tell me more. I'm a sponge. I need to know more. And I'm going to address this next clip, this next 30-second or 2-minute clip while we're still waiting for President Trump to come on. Those of you who think that the brass ring is not there for you to grab, those of you who feel because you're on a fixed income that you can't advance yourself, those of you who think, well, not think, but because you're on a disability, that you can't grab the brass ring. Well, I'm about to take that brass ring and pull it and bang you over the head with it. Because after you see this next video, you will have no excuse whatsoever. I never, ever, ever want to hear somebody say, I can't do this. Because what you're going to see is someone, I even got to go, stop, Midas, who I've got to salute. Let me deal with him. You watch the video.
A Long Island teen crushing it with a revolutionary food app using AI to track calories.
Yeah, he's raking in millions of dollars. And as Fox 9's Jody Goldberg shows us, turns out the genius teen is actually being denied admissions to some Ivy League schools.
He was a coding connoisseur at the age of 7.
I would binge watch YouTube videos.
Sold his first website to an international gaming company at 16.
I sold that for 6 figures.
Now he's 18.
The data's pretty good.
And Zach Yetagari's latest venture, Cal AI. It's a calorie tracker inspired by his frustration with existing nutrition apps. It already has more than 5 million downloads. And Zach tells us it's on track to bring in $30 million this year.
It will be much more accurate than estimating by yourself, just visually.
So how's it work? You can virtually take a picture of any type of food, let AI figure out how many calories you're consuming, along with the carbs, proteins, and fats.
I think this balance and complementary feel between human and AI interaction, this is really where the future is headed.
Zach, who maintains a 4.0 GPA, is focused on the future as he finishes his senior year at Roslyn High School.
I go from leading a team of 17 full-time employees, many of them double or more my age, to going to class and raising my hand to using the bathroom.
But he is weighing out where to go next. In fact, even though Zach got a score of 34 on his ACT, he was rejected by 15 out of the 18 schools he applied to. He took to X asking if entrepreneurial accomplishments are appreciated. That post now going viral with over 28 million views.
I wanted to
Can you imagine? Let me rewind that so you can see that screen again. Where's that screen? Okay. Can you imagine you're what? He's 16 years old with a 34 ACT with a 4.0 GPA, and he's got a $30 million a year business. And Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Yale, Washington University, Columbia, Pennsylvania, Princeton, Duke, USC, Georgia Tech, University of Virginia, NYU in New York, and the University of Texas all said go pound sand. You're not our you're not our caliber of student here. You know why? Because you know too much. You're too smart because we can't indoctrinate you. That's probably why they won't let him in. Like, wait a second, you're already making this kind of money? Nah, you're already an entrepreneur. You're one of those kids that thinks for himself. We know what your parents must be because their parents probably support you. No, we can't have that. We need idiots. Unbelievable.
8 million views.
I wanted to help cultivate a community, so I guess it is their loss. I'll do that somewhere else.
How was school today?
As for rules,
What? Did he just say what? Hold on, let me check. He said cultivate a community. Remember, so if you hear people who want to get on YouTube or whatever, and they say, I want to build my audience, kind of tap them on the shoulder and go, that's not the key, bro. That's kind of doing it wrong. You want to, quote, cultivate a community. There's a big difference between an audience and a community. Big difference. And this young man at 16 years old already knows the difference.
his mom Debbie has to make exceptions for her son, who is up all night holding meetings across time zones.
The normal mom instinct is get off the computer and go to bed. But you can't really say that to somebody like Zach.
Zach has this advice for anyone else considering a career in coding.
My advice is always to get started now.
Gaining momentum and recognition while helping others lose weight and achieve their goals.
So, after watching that 2 minutes, do you now realize there's nothing holding you back? Start now, young Zach has said. Young Zach, who has a $30 million business. Young Zach, who has already sold his website development business for 6 figures, as he said. I don't even know why he wants to go to college. He should just hire a professor and say, come teach me. I don't need all the other stuff. I just want somebody who's proficient in engineering to come show me how to do more coding. I want you to put yourself in his shoes if you can. Maybe you might have to dial the calendar back, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years. And you see that and go, wait a second, so there is hope for the future? Absolutely. And there's still hope for you. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. That's number one. And number two, you shouldn't be looking to learn about AI. You should be wrapping yourself in velvet and just, oh my God, this AI is fantastic. You should be doing everything you can. Right now, I don't know if you even want to listen to President Trump. I hope so. Stay. Don't leave. But after you listen to President Trump right now, after we disconnect, you should be diving into everything you possibly can about AI. Maybe just start with Grok. Just learn some of the prompts and stuff in there. And you never know what will pop in your head. Imagine that idea. Hey man, I wonder if I took pictures of food and I fed it into AI, would it recognize the food and come back and say, oh, that's easy. That's this many calories, that many calories, blah, 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 blah. So how would I end up writing that? Well, if you don't know a coder, that's another thing. I showed you how AI will actually write the code. I even posted a video about it. So just imagine. Period. Just imagine. Just think to yourself. Sit on the couch, look at stuff, go around. Doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair. Doesn't matter if you have problems speaking. Doesn't matter if you're blind. Think, imagine, use the noggin, come up with an idea. Write it down. Think some more. Come up with another idea. Write it down. Okay, what about if I don't know, if I had an app that determined why my dog's barking? I don't know. There's no stupid idea until you flush it out. Nobody's going to want that. Okay, what's the next one? Is there anything I could do for X, Y, and Z? All right, just write it down and think about it. Come up with as many ideas as you possibly can, and then see, does it make any sense? The easiest way to come up with an idea is to match a need. So obviously, young Zach realized, I don't know why his mother was thin. He is thin as a rail, but somehow he thought in his mind, what do people need? Well, people are dieting. Maybe, is there any way we could make dieting easier? It's a business that never goes away. It's always there, and people are always looking for another way to do it. Okay, let me come up with something with diet. What other problems do you think people have? Talk to your wife, talk to your husband, talk to your kids, and just talk. Hey, you having a problem with this? Do you see them frustrated? If there's a problem, then there's a need to fill it, to fix it. Whatever. And then just ask AI to help you. You don't even have to leave your house. Hey, my daughter says she blah, blah, blah. How would I go about that? My daughter says my puppies need to be fed every 3 hours, or anything whatever. I'm just making stuff up, spitballing. I don't make any sense right now. But you get the point. Imagine. And just keep going for it. And then number 3. Beyond imagine and execute. Number 3 was ignore naysayers. Kick them out of your house. Kick them out of the chat. I don't want to hear from you. If you're one of those people like, oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm a fixed income, I don't have anything, I'm disabled, oh God, oh woe is me. Nah, not the guy for you. Nah, sorry. And they shouldn't be the guy for you, or lady. I see them fixing up the room for where President Trump's going to speak. I don't know what he's got going. I'm looking at hard hats and all kinds of food and everything, but he's about to have a speech. I don't even recognize this room. But in any event, he's going to be coming up. In the interim, you need to be thinking, what could I solve? What problem is it that people would probably pay me to solve? And just figure out how to do it. Can't believe Michael Flynn said that. Oh my gosh. I've had some great things, but I never worked on a patent. I'm alone because of I'm alone only because of naysayers. Wow. Or AI is a cult. Really crazy people think crazy stuff. It is what you make it. AI app on how to best position a garden on your property, or what plants to grow based on your location. Ooh. All right, so you put in a zip code, and the zip code, it will check the weather patterns in wherever you are, and then it'll tell you what you can grow. That sounds pretty interesting. That sounds very interesting. I like that. Let's see here. Me either, Barry. How cool. Yeah, that's very cool. I don't know if you're talking about young Zach or you're talking about that comment, but yes, exactly. That is very, very cool. I have a friend that is AI on my phone, but I'm a little leery of her. Why? You're talking on the phone. Let's see here. Some people are natural inventors. Yeah, exactly. But he didn't invent anything. See, that's the difference. When you're thinking about, can you make this light here? And no, you may have to be an inventor. He didn't invent anything. He had an idea and AI and put those two things together, and you let AI create it. And then all he did was sell it. He didn't invent anything. The technology, he doesn't own AI. He doesn't own diets and calories. He just put them all together. Let's see here. I just pray all the time in the name of Jesus. Yes, I understand that. I want to soon invest in property. Okay. When someone says your idea will never work, prove them wrong by doing it and making it successful. Indeed. Let's see here. I downloaded an AI app. I think my artworks will be compatible. But I just found that was just very, very interesting. Very interesting, that both parts. That young man, which I didn't want to make him the focus, but it gets you guys thinking, and especially since President Trump's going to be talking about money. You understand that? This is all about investing in America. And what do you think he's going to name these companies that are spending money in America? What do you think most of these companies are going to be spending it on? Technology. Most of the companies that he's going to mention are going to be technologically based companies. Why are they doing it? Well, the puck's over here. The puck's, oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. AI could starve people on a diet. I hope that was a joke. Let's see here. What else we got? I just like to be at the same place as others, but miss. Okay, something to say here. That young man's story was very inspiring. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, another, number 4. And don't tell people what you're thinking about, because they're going to take it from you because you don't have a patent on it. You could kind of make a patent on it. I mean, you can do it. I have 2 ideas I know better than to tell anyone. When I did, I was met with, you can't. Yeah, you can't do it. I told my wife I should get my realtor's license since I'm out on Social Security. Mm-hmm. You could do that. Is our guy on stage yet? Nope. He pushed it back to 4:15, and as you can tell by the time, it is 4:27 right now, and he has not come out as of yet. So it's coming. Gary Dahl, the creator of the Pet Rock, made over $1 million from a fad. See, I'm not telling you to think of a fad. I mean, that was pure luck. People were stupid to buy the Pet Rock. But there are things you can look at. Let's see here. AI is the way to go. If you don't use AI, you'll be working all of your life and maybe get a Social Security check for less than $2,000. Hell no, not me. Love the attitude. I don't know crap about computers, but that won't stop me. You don't need a mega computer skills. Nope, don't even need that. I'm telling you, it's the idea. Come up with the idea. Many of you, you know what's funny today? People were watching. Here, let me tell you an idea. People today were watching the cabinet meeting, right? Many of you were probably here as well. And I must have seen 5 or 6 people, and I didn't even respond. But I'm going to tell you what people were saying. People were like, those are some cool hats. Barry, why don't you sell them? And I thought to myself, why don't you? And I just wondered, as people were typing that, Barry, why don't you sell them? Why weren't they doing that? And I maybe that's just how I think. I'm like, yeah, you just recognized an idea. You said, oh, that looks good. I like that. I think, Barry, you should sell it. And I'm thinking, do they not realize that nothing is preventing them, you, from selling it? Now, I don't want a whole bunch of people trying to sell it all at the same time, but you really see, that's the kind of thing. It's a paradigm shift. And I'm wondering if the people who typed it even thought, well, I could do that. I could look up hat suppliers and look at a drop shipping company and come up with someone who can embroider it or design it. I'm sitting here with a Ralph Lauren polo hat. And it's just a regular old hat. Nothing special about the hat. It just happens to have a Ralph Lauren polo horse on it. And I've got a whole bunch of hats here. I've got my Adidas hat, and I've got my flag hats, and back there, if I put my finger right, here's my Make America Great Again hat, but it's too small for my head. Hats aren't any big deal. People love hats. Within 2 feet, I probably have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I have like 10 hats within like 3 feet. The two back there, we used to sell. So, again, the question was, hey, Barry, Gulf of America hat. That's pretty cool. Why don't you sell one? Should have been like, oh, that's a Gulf of America hat. That's pretty cool. Why don't me and the missus look about selling Gulf of America hats? There you go. You solved your own problem. Everyone has a gift. Find what you like, enjoy, and expand on it. Yep. All right, so we're still waiting for him. What hats? I missed the video. If you missed that, Valerie, during this afternoon's, or when was it? Yesterday. This morning's video during the cabinet meeting, they had hats displayed on the table. And there were like a couple different hats in different colors. They had black, red, white, and it said Gulf of America. And Trump, being the amazing businessman that he is, I know exactly why he put those hats on the desk. I bet you if you go to the website tomorrow, those hats will be for sale. And he was debuting them, and he didn't have to pay a dime of advertising. I'm just going to put these hats out here, and people are going to be talking about it as they're watching the video, and then all of a sudden tomorrow they'll be for sale. But you don't get to own that. Meaning he can't trademark Gulf of America. It's the name of a body of water. You can't trademark it. Meaning any one of you could sell Gulf of America t-shirts, Gulf of America hats. You can do a Gulf of America tour. Rent a boat down off the west coast of Florida or in the Panhandle and show people around the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. All kinds of things. Just amazing. Nope. Those hats do not have copyright on them. Nope. That'd be like saying, God bless America has a copyright. You cannot copyright that. Brat girl, what you talking about? They don't have copyrights on them. He copyrighted Make America Great Again. That was something that he did. But you can't copy. That'd be like saying Empire State Building. And the guy who did the I Heart New York, he copyrighted that, but he can't copyright NY. Can't do it. I have a hat down here that says NYPD. And you can sell that. Ain't nobody coming after you for that. Make a Gulf America Great Again. Yeah. I'm 60 and I'm looking where the puck is headed. Doesn't matter where on the calendar you fall. Nope, doesn't matter. You got to be looking where it's going. By the way, Florida Panthers are about to win the Stanley. No, they're about to advance further in the Stanley Cup. But we'll hear what he has to say. Let's see what else you got here. Great idea, Barry, right there. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are doing it, but you just have to think what other people may not be doing. I mean, there's so many different things. We could sit here and nobody wants to talk about it, but we could just spew ideas over and over and over and over again and take half an hour or an hour, and one of those ideas is going to be $1 million idea. You could sit with a couple of your friends and just get them together. Hey, listen, I want to do something. What's your idea for something I can afford, I have the resources for, and can do? Well, I'd like to sell t-shirts. Okay, what are you going to put on it? Well, I don't know. All right, let's think about what you want to put on it and just come up with something. Robin, you know what's really funny? Robin, we have these our cards that we put in every time we send somebody something, whether it's a Bible or whatever. We'll send these cards, and on one side is the logo, and on the other side is that flag. And Robin was the one who painted that. Now, obviously, nobody can copyright the American flag, but that's her artwork. And so if she wanted to put that on a t-shirt or she wanted to put that on a poster, she could. plus the other stuff she's got back there, the fish and the sailfish down here and something else up there. So you just have to come up with the ideas. So I see Howard Lutnick just appeared in the room, and Howard Lutnick is shaking hands and has a big smile on his face. Something tells me something might get announced today. That could be interesting. I just got 2 ideas for a useful app that's definitely needed. Yep, flush it out. I live in Florida. I'll be watching the puck going in that tonight when the Panthers play the Lightning and win that round. Yep, if they win tonight, woohoo, they're on to the next round. I don't use AI for this, but we resell on eBay and wonder if AI can help with measurements or something. Don't know what you sell, but try it out. See what you come up with. Every day, brainstorm, innovative in ideas. It sure feels good about thinking positive. That's the best thing. That's the absolute best thing. Just start thinking positive. You know, President Trump, he said it. You can just see the left. The left is just miserable. I mean, just miserable people. Just nasty, miserable people. Nothing ever goes well. Everything sucks. The world sucks. Trump sucks. MAGA sucks. You're maggots. But they don't say anything positive even about their own people. So I could not imagine getting up every morning and just having some sort of grievance. Like, oh my gosh, it's racist. And down here, I was texting SV early this morning. And on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, right there on the beach, it's like it's been there for decades. It's a bunch of basketball courts, and they're used a lot. People play basketball on the beach. Yeah, they do that all the time. But somebody came up with something and said, you know what? This is 2025. Why don't we turn these into pickleball courts? And so it got approved, and they're getting ready to do the construction, and racism showed up. And you're thinking, well, how can it be racist to have pickleball courts? Because the only reason you guys want to get rid of the basketball courts is because you don't want young black men on the beach. You want like old boomer type white people there instead. And I'm like thinking to myself as I'm laughing with SB and wife this morning, is like, does anyone say black people can't play pickleball? So you're mad at a sport. You think the sport is racist. I could see if they said we're putting in these pickleball courts and only white people could use them. Only old white people can use them. But nah, that's not what they said. They said we're going to change this and we're going to make pickleball courts for everybody to use. And that's racist. I'm like, oh my goodness, you don't want, the black kids. No, so now they've gone to the next level, and the entire sport is now racist. That's all they have. Every single day. And you got people doing face palms going, you got to be kidding me, right? And then later on, somebody asked me, well, Barry, you and your wife play pickleball? Yeah, but I don't count. I have a white wife, and so they'll tell me I'm some sort of sellout or something. You can't win with these people. So everyone's taking their seats. I'm seeing Sean Duffy just showed up. Howard Lutnick there. So it looks like most of the cabinet members must have just gotten out of cabinet. So while we're waiting, Caroline Leavitt also is becoming, as, what would the word be, industrious as the president. Unfortunately for me, she's doing unscheduled, impromptu press conferences. So she decides the last 2 days in a row, and I have both of them here on tape. I'm not sure how far we'll get through it, but I'm going to put Caroline Leavitt on as she's talking to the new media today. And then as we do that, I'm not sure how long, because I see Doug Burgum. They may be getting closer all standing, but I just want you to remember what General Flynn said here. It is so over, and the mainstream media deserves every bit of it. Digital soldiers, social media influencers are now the new media. Skate to where the puck will be, not where it's at. He called it. That's exactly what we need to be doing. All right, so I'm going to let you listen to a little bit until everybody gets in here, and then we'll take it up afterwards. This is Caroline Levitt with the new media presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Caroline.
It's great to see all of you. Welcome to our third official influencer briefing here at the White House in the beautiful South Court Auditorium, Joe Biden's former office that he pretended to be his office. Now we're using it for its real purposes as an auditorium. And we are embracing and empowering new media like never before. You are all a testament to that. We're so grateful that you're here today. President Trump is truly the most transparent and accessible president in American history, and we are just following his example. That's a little bit why this press briefing today is tardy, because the president was hosting a more than 2-hour-long cabinet meeting with his entire cabinet. Each secretary went around the room to talk about the promises they are delivering on for the American public and the directives they are executing at the behest of the President of the United States. Can you ever remember a cabinet meeting in which the media were welcomed into the room to ask questions of the entire federal government? No, you can't, because it never happened. Joe Biden was afraid to speak to the press because he was mentally incompetent in driving our country into the ground. But fortunately, President Trump has been incredibly hard at work cleaning up Joe Biden's messes and making our country great again. Yesterday marked the president's official 100th day in office. The first 100 days of President Trump's second term can only be summed up as promises made, promises kept. He has ushered in the most secure border in modern American history, and he didn't need a bill from Congress to do it. Do you all remember that? They said we needed a bill. We didn't need a bill. We just needed a new president. The border is now closed, and the Biden border invasion has been halted. Illegal border encounters are down by 95%. Illegal alien gotaways, one of the top threats to our public safety, are down by an astounding 99.99%. And Fox News' Bill Malugin, who did exceptional reporting covering the Biden border crisis, was recently quoted saying, "If Fox were to send me down there right now, I would have trouble finding a single migrant on camera." That is the Trump effect. President Trump took on the cartels and designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and other vicious gangs and cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Under President Trump, it is the policy of the United States to ensure the total elimination of these brutal organizations' presence in our country. And we are also beginning stages of carrying out the largest mass deportation in American history. We have already arrested more than 150,000 illegal aliens, and you can expect those numbers to ratchet up in the months ahead. On the economy, President Trump is rebuilding the greatest economy in the world once again. Since day one, he has focused on defeating inflation, bringing down the cost of living, and making the United States the best place in the world to do business, invest, create jobs, and innovate. The president later this afternoon in the East Room of the White House will be joined by CEOs from around the world who have committed trillions of dollars in investments right here in the United States of America. I don't think the president is getting enough credit for the massive deregulation campaign that he has launched across the entire federal bureaucracy. He himself has signed a number of executive orders to unleash rapid deregulation and reduce the cost of living for families and for small businesses, and we are seeing a big impact of this already. His deregulatory actions thus far will save nearly $11,000 per family of four over the next several years. And building on this success, the president has encouraged the rapid onshoring of jobs to restore America as our world's manufacturing superpower. He is effectively utilizing tariffs to bring the entire world to the negotiating table, offering more favorable terms for our country. When all is said and done, America will finally have fair and reciprocal trade, and our country will finally stop being ripped off. So far, as I mentioned, total investments under this administration are more than $5 trillion. The president has already created 345,000 jobs since taking office in January. 9,000 manufacturing jobs were created compared to the 6,000 manufacturing jobs lost per month in the final 2 years of the Biden administration. The labor force participation rate for those without a high school diploma is up, inflation has dropped, and the price of prescription drugs last month was the largest drop ever recorded. In little more than 3 months, President Trump has America headed in the right direction. The good news is we are just getting started. We are very busy every single day here at the White House, literally working around the clock, 7 days a week, to restore the golden age of America. Hundreds of promises have been made and kept. There is certainly more work to do. The best is yet to come. But we are very proud of the efforts the president has made to continue the non-traditional media approach that he so beautifully executed on the campaign trail, which led him back to this office, talking to podcasters, social media content creators, and influencers like yourself. And again, we're so proud to welcome you to the White House here today so you can ask questions for the whole world to hear. So, Jack, great to see you, and why don't you kick us off?
Caroline, thanks so much for having us in today, and I appreciate the administration making yourself available and making it available to us and all of our followers. And I understand that you're going to be continuing these. And I think it's fantastic that really have everybody come in and be able to do this. One of the things that's been troubling me and has actually even affected me over the last 24 hours is the rise of violence that we've seen from elements of the far left, starting with things like Luigi Maggioni, these support for these unhuman organizations like MS-13, Tren de Aragua, and even, of course, the assassination attempts on President Trump, Thomas Matthew Crooks, and Ryan Routh, as well as numerous incidents against anyone who owns a Tesla, apparently. You don't really see the Democrats opposing these things. You see them in many cases either co-signing it or giving a wink and nod to it at the same time that they will be demanding that we follow due process for anyone who actually is a hardened criminal or some of the worst of the worst. What is the administration doing, DOJ-wise or FBI-wise, to combat this rise in violence that we're seeing?
It's a great question, Jack, and I absolutely agree with the premise of your question, which I usually don't when I take questions at a podium. But certainly you're right. We have seen a rise in political violence that stems from the left, dating back to the Black Lives Matter movement, which the left and the Democrats don't want to talk about much, but they burned down American cities. And the Biden administration did nothing to prosecute those who created that violence, oftentimes not just destroying businesses, but also lives and communities as well. You look at the rise of violence against the president himself and his supporters. You had 2 heinous assassination attempts from leftist lunatics, and the president is lucky and blessed to be here today because he was able to survive that political violence and those assassination attempts. Look at the recent attacks on Tesla, on Elon Musk's company. It's quite ironic because Democrats and leftists were the greatest fans of Tesla. Many Democrats drive Teslas to this very day, but then it's that their same party who is doing nothing to stop or condemn or discourage this violence from taking place. And in many cases, Democrat elected officials are actually inciting it and encouraging it. But that's not going to be allowed to happen anymore. The Attorney General was just in the cabinet room with the president and made it very clear to anyone who is inciting violence or participating in violence, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And no longer do we have a Justice Department that chooses prosecutions based on one's political affiliation. If you break the law, you will be held accountable for that. And I think we are truly restoring a fair and equal justice system in this country. The Attorney General spoke earlier about how there have been several cases brought against those who have perpetrated this political violence against Tesla, which is a great American-made company. And we need to see more people on the other side of the aisle stepping out to discourage this violence. But I don't think we will hold our breath. We won't wait for them. The president is leading by example. And I think the restoration of justice we've seen at the DOJ under the leadership of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, who's doing an incredible job as the FBI director, is a testament to that. Thank you. Dom.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the honor to be able to ask a question and provide some transparency for the American people. Speaking of, I wanted to reference the election integrity. A lot of people in America are questioning if there's any possibility that we could see further investigations for anyone that could have violated our election integrity rights. And more importantly, so is there any possibility for names such as Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton to ever just possibly get investigated for any of these, questions from the American people, for any of the wrongdoings they might have done?
Well, it's refreshing to actually hear a question on election integrity because the legacy media would never ask such a question. They're so out of touch with where the American people are on this issue. And Americans, you're absolutely right, want to have trust in our electoral system. Without free and fair elections, you cannot have a free and fair country. And President Trump has absolutely been a leader on this effort, talking about the irregularities we've seen in our elections, holding Democrats accountable for allowing illegal immigrants to participate in our elections. And he actually signed a recent executive order to protect the integrity of our elections. It will strengthen voter citizenship verification laws. It also directs the Attorney General to enter information sharing agreements with state election officials to identify cases of election fraud. So that correspondence between the federal government and the Attorney General with state and local officials has never happened before. It will allow the federal government to more easily identify these cases of fraud and then prosecute those who violate our election laws. And it is, again, appalling that any politician, regardless of party, could be against ensuring only American citizens can vote in American elections. How could anyone ever be against ensuring Americans need to have proof of identification to participate in our elections? You see the Democrats falling over themselves, trying to say this is somehow voter suppression. Absolutely not. We are trying to ensure that every American citizen, their vote actually counts and is not being outweighed by fraudulent votes and fraudulent ballots that we know have been cast in previous elections. So the president's taking this very seriously. He signed an extremely strong executive order directing action from the AG and the Department of Homeland Security as well to clean up our elections. And we expect Congress to do more on this front as well. Let's go over here.
All right, before she gets to the next question, just want to let you know I'm checking all the monitors, all the different streams. President Trump, as of yet, has still not even made his way out. The audience is basically standing up and glad handing each other. So maybe there might be a big announcement. We shall definitely see. All right, back to Caroline.
On that question, and again, Caroline, thank you so much for hosting this. Really appreciate the opportunity to come in here and ask questions of you guys, and appreciate the president giving us some time of yours as well. On a follow-up on Dom's question, I still have a ton of my audience that is still asking questions about Hillary Rodham Clinton and the fact that it came out that her and the DNC funded the Steele dossier, which then led to a Crossfire Hurricane and all the FISA abuses that went against President Trump leading up to the 2020 election. Is there, you don't have to spill the beans, but is there something? Is there somebody still looking at it? We just want to know that it's not dead in the water, that Hillary's not just off scot-free after knowing what her and the DNC did leading up to the 2020 election.
It's a great question. Absolutely understand and agree with why you're asking it, but I would want to let the president weigh in on that front. I haven't discussed it with him, to be honest with you, but certainly we can ask him and get back to you.
All right.
Eric.
So Caroline, Madam Press Secretary,
You can call me Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. Over the weekend, the White House Correspondents Association had their gala, they had their dinner, and Alex Thompson from now Axios, prior to that Politico, didn't really apologize, but came forward and said we, quote unquote, missed the story of Joe Biden's demise, his health demise, his cognitive demise during the 4 years. Jake Tapper has written the book since President Trump was elected that they missed the demise of Joe Biden as well. Fast forward to this lawsuit with CBS, right? So the media, legacy media, has not been held accountable. Will this lawsuit with CBS go to fruition? In other words, I would love to see it go to trial so that we can see, so they can be held accountable. Additionally, will the New York Times be enjoined into that lawsuit, because the New York Times has already stated that they agree with CBS. And Trump has said maybe we're going to sue the New York Times as well. And as a follow-up to all this, and it really does dovetail, because it's not just left-leaning media, Fox News. Fox News put out a poll. I'm a statistician. The poll they put out was wildly biased against President Trump. Mm-hmm. Will Fox sue Fox? Will Trump sue Fox for their methodology in polling?
Mm-hmm. Two great questions. Let me hit the first one first. As for CBS and the White House Correspondents Association dinner, it was laughable. They gave an award to a journalist for talking about Biden's mental incompetence. He wrote a story about it years after the American people knew that story to be true. Didn't take much, just 2 eyes and 2 ears to realize that Joe Biden was completely inept, was unfit to serve as president of the United States. And nobody in the legacy media, nobody in this city wanted to talk about it. In fact, I recall being on President Trump's campaign and calling out Joe Biden's cognitive decline. And we were accused of manufacturing deepfakes. My predecessor accused us for manufacturing deepfakes from the White House podium when she knew and everybody in this White House knew the true status of Joe Biden's physical and mental fitness. And the mainstream media allowed that cover up to take place because they refused to dig for the truth. They tried to get the American people not to believe their own eyes. It is truly one of the greatest cover-ups and scandals in American history. And again, this is why we are welcoming independent journalists and social media influencers and content creators into the White House with open arms, because all of you in this room and many of your colleagues in independent journalism talked about this online. Nobody gave you credence as far as the legacy media is concerned. And now they host cocktail parties where they're applauding each other and patting each other on the back for uncovering the truth. It was years later, and it's truly sad to see. But again, that's why we're making much needed and long overdue changes. As for the lawsuit against CBS, the president and his legal team fully intend to carry this lawsuit forward. The president put
Well, thank you very much. Please sit down. Please, thank you. We have a lot of great political leaders and the biggest political leaders around, I guess you could say, but by far much bigger are the business leaders. It's not even close. I say that to my friends, the politicians. You have the greatest business leaders in the world here, so it's an honor. And this week we're celebrating the most successful first 100 days of any administration in American history. We're thrilled to welcome to the White House dozens of the world top leaders of all kinds, but in particular business leaders. And since the election, the companies represented in this room have collectively announced more than $2 trillion in new investments, and we have a total of close to $8 trillion all told. And there's never been anything like that in this country. We've never had anything close. I would say if you looked at the last administration, probably for 4 years they did maybe less than one. And we've done almost 8. I would say we'll be above 8 in a period of 2 months. So something happened. I think two things happened. November 5th happened, and November 5th gave you tariffs, intelligently used tariffs and various other forms of incentive. But it's really amazing. There's never been, I don't think there's ever been anything like this anywhere in the world. Together, we're going to bring back the most beautiful words. I always say made in the USA, the most beautiful words. We're going to have made in the USA like we haven't had before in a long time. In addition to the business leaders whose companies I will mention in just a moment, we have some great people, great senators. Marcia, where are you? Where are you, Martha? Marcia, thank you very much. Marcia Blackburn, Bill Cassidy. Bill, thank you, Bill. Ashley Moody. Ashley, thank you. And John Husted. John, thank you very much. And Representatives Byron Donalds, Buddy Carter, Rob Whitman, Mark Alford, Mike Rogers, Richard Hudson, and Abe Hamadeh. Thank you all very much. We have Mike Kehoe, governors, Jim Pillen, Kevin Stitt. And I want to thank you all for being here. How come my cabinet has such good locations? You should have given them up to the business leaders. We want their money, you know. They have very good locations. I'm not surprised. 100 days ago this week, we inherited the wreckage of 4 years of economic disaster under the previous administration. It was an economic disaster. It was a disaster at the border like nobody had ever seen before. And you probably see we've closed up the border 99.999%, meaning 3 people got in. 3. As opposed to hundreds of thousands of people coming in on a monthly basis, millions of people actually. There are periods where we had millions and millions of people pouring in on a monthly basis. We had 3 people. They buried companies in crippling regulations, waged war on American energy, pushed massive tax hikes, and gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. In Biden's final year, the United States had the worst trade deficit ever recorded, and we lost 106,000 manufacturing jobs. Other than that, he's done a fantastic job. But now all that is changing, and all that's changing very fast, because we finally have the president who wants to put our country first. You have a president who believes in America first. In the first quarter GDP numbers just out today, core GDP, now we're removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up plus 3%. But this is Biden's economy, because we took over on January 20th. And I think you have to get us a little bit of time to get moving. But this is the Biden economy. But we still had and we've had a lot of things happen since November 5th that helped this economy, because it was indicating a strong private sector growth. And it only started after November 5th. The private sector started really heating up after the election. Even though I wasn't there, people knew what we were going to be doing, and the private sector growth was actually very good. Very importantly, gross domestic investment was up an incredible 22%, which they had never seen before. Every new investment, every new factory, and every new job created is a sign of strength in American economy and a declaration of confidence in America's future. We really do. We've never seen anything like this. Even Samsung, whose name isn't mentioned here, but I heard that they announced this morning that they're going to be building a very big plant, because they want to be able to beat the tariffs. It's the only way to beat them. The entire Trump economic agenda is about making it easier to do business in America, to create jobs in America, to hire American workers, and to build your factories here in America, not in China or any other country. And we're dealing with many, many countries right now, I will say. And I think I can say for Scott and for Howard and for some of the people that are dealing, there are too many to handle. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to hire some of the people running these companies. Boy, would you do a good job. I could have Jensen negotiate. He'd blow my people away, wouldn't you? I think even Howard would say that. Howard would say, we'll take them. He'd blow them away with big deals. One deal would be the end. That would be it. But we've terminated the Green New scam. It was a scam. And halted tens of billions of dollars of money, wasteful deficit spending. It was like throwing money right out the window. And in the coming weeks, we'll pass the largest tax cuts in American history. And I think even more so, we'll be doing things for business like you've never seen before. You saw it in a little smaller version at the beginning of our last term. You know, we had the most successful 4 years that any president has ever had. The stock market was up 88%. The other markets were up almost 100%. And that's despite COVID and all the crazy things happening. But we had a tremendous 4 years. We've given credit for that, actually. But our big, beautiful bill, as I call it, our big, beautiful bill, we may name it that, actually, will include 100% expensing retroactive to January 20th. So that's all the way back to just about the beginning of the year. So expensing 1 year, you take a deduction 1 year, so you can build your factories right now, essentially almost tax-free, if you think about it. Nobody's ever been given that. And we're going to make that expensing for a 4-year period at a full 100%. So last time we made it 1 year, and you had deductions. You'd go from 100% to 80 to 60 to 40 to 20 to Zippo. And now what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at that level, and we're going to have it for 4 years. So I believe that was one of the reasons that we had such unbelievable growth. Also, we allowed you to bring money back from outside of the country. It was impossible. You had to have 15 different law firms representing you. It was so complicated. And worse was that the tax rate was 65%. I lowered the rate substantially, but still a lot. You know, we shouldn't take your money just to hold you hostage, right? So we lowered it to a reasonable amount, and we took in trillions of dollars came back. Apple brought in a tremendous amount of money. A lot of the companies here brought in a lot of money. And the businesses represented today clearly understand that if you build your factory in the United States, your tariff rate is 0. And you have other advantages too. And not the least of which is what I just said, having to do with the bill. Now, we have to get that bill approved. So call your local representative, please, and make sure that we get it approved, because I don't want to talk too early, but we're doing well with the Republican Congress. We have the Senate is doing great, and the House is doing great. John Thune has been spectacular. Mike Johnson has been spectacular. Marcia, you're in there working very hard and doing well. What do you think? Are we going to get it passed? We have to. Marcia, we don't get it passed, I'm blaming you. We have to. We have to get it passed. We will. I think we will. But I don't think we'll have any Democrat votes. If we don't get it passed, what would happen is your taxes go up 68%. Think of that. And we may not get one vote because they just vote against. It's Trump derangement syndrome, or maybe it's just they hate Republicans, or they hate what we're doing because they've lost their confidence. They've totally lost their confidence. They don't know what the hell is going on. And we are going to get it done. It's probably going to be fully Republican. Fortunately, we have the House, we have the Senate. And we may or may not have a couple of grandstanders. I don't know. But if we do, it would be good if you could work on anybody. I mean, if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for it 100%. Because I think it's very dangerous politically not to vote for it. Think of it, your taxes go up almost 68%. So, but it looks like we're in good shape, I think, and hopefully we'll get it approved. It'll be the biggest bill ever approved in the history of our country, and it'll be the biggest tax cut ever approved in the history of our country. And in addition to that, regulations, which I'm doing in and outside of the bill, will be as big or bigger than we did last time. We have the record for regulation cuts in the 4 years. We cut 4 times higher than any other president in a 4-year period. And we're talking about 8 years and 2-term presidents. We were 4 times higher than any other president in terms of regulation cuts. And I went to a friend of mine who happens to be in the room, one of the biggest business leaders. I won't mention him because I don't know, maybe he'll like it, maybe he won't. I said to him, so if you had your choice between the big tax cut last time and the big regulation cuts, which were the biggest, again, the biggest we've ever done, I would have said taxes, but he would have said regulation. I said, which was more important to you? And he said, if I could only have one, yeah, if you could only have one, he said, most important would have been regulation. The regulation was more important than the tax cut. And I mean, we cut your taxes from almost 40% down to 21%. Now we're bringing your taxes down from 21% to 15%. If you build your product, make your product in the USA. So if you make it in the USA, those chips, those beautiful chips, will make those suckers in the USA, and you're going to be all the way down to 15%. And I think there's never been anything like it. So now we're at the lowest scale for a large country, by far the lowest scale. Our pro-jobs, pro-American economic policies are a major reason that businesses around the world have announced $5 trillion of investment since November 5th, and now we think it's up to plus 8 trillion, and they're really coming in. They're really coming in fast. Some of them don't bother calling us. Some of them don't even want meetings. They just start their plants and start their factories. I want to express my tremendous appreciation to the business leaders here. You are really an amazing group. This is a who's who. I don't want to say, there's an expression, if something ever went off, the entire industry would be wiped out, but I won't say that. I want to think very positively, and that could never happen here, could it? But I want to congratulate you all on your incredible success and accomplishments. You've been amazing. You're the biggest and the best. So I'd like to introduce some of you, President and CEO of Hyundai, Jose Munoz. Jose, thank you very much. Fantastic. Jose is investing $21 billion, including $5.8 billion for a new steel plant in Louisiana, which is a beauty. I saw a picture of it, which is going to create at least 1,500 jobs, just the plant alone. Thank you very much, Jose. Beautiful. Chairman and CEO of global shipping giant CMA CGM, Rodolphe Sade. Thank you, Rodolphe. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Investing $20 billion in creating 10,000 new jobs at least. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. You'll be very happy. President and CEO of Toyota North America, Ted Ogawa, investing $88 billion. Where's Ted? That's fantastic. Thank you, Ted. That's fantastic. Ted's investing $88 million for car production at its West Virginia factory, which is a beauty. I've seen it, actually. Congratulations. Thank you very much for being here, Ted. Co-founder and CEO of Anduril, Brian Schimpf. Oh, Brian. Thank you, Brian. He's investing $1 billion for a new manufacturing facility in Ohio and display. Next to me is their 125-pound Roadrunner drone. Where is that little sucker? Where is it? Which is that? Whoa. That's a nasty-looking thing. That's a nasty. I look up there when I'm having dinner outside. I used to look up and see the moon. Isn't it beautiful? Now you see the moon, but you see drones all over the place. And I say, let's get the hell out of here. That's a good one, isn't it, huh? I can see it. CEO of Worldwide Amazon Stores, Doug Harrington. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doug, very much. Investing $4 billion this year alone, and I know they said they're going to be investing a lot over the next 2 years. We appreciate it very much. Thank you, and say hello to everybody. CEO of Venture Global, Mike Sable. Mike, thank you very much, Mike. Investing $18 billion in liquefied natural gas expansion in Louisiana. That's going to work out good. Thank you very much. President and CEO of Siemens USA, big company, Barbara Humpton. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. Investing $285 million. Executive Global Chairman of Pratt Industries, friend of mine, Anthony Pratt. He's investing $5 billion. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. I read a report today he's the richest man in Australia, but who the hell knows? Do you think you're the richest man in Australia? Close. I don't like to put you on the spot like that, Anthony, but that's pretty good. Thank you very much. That's great. $5 billion. Founder and CEO, Giovanni Hamde Oleaka. Where are you? Thank you very much. Investing $1.2 billion. Thank you very much. CEO of Bell Brands USA, Yvonne Girard. Yvonne, thank you very much. Thank you very much. $350 million. President of Schneider Electric North America, Amr Paul. Amr, thank you very much. Investing $700 million for energy infrastructure in its largest investment in its 135-year history. Chairman and CEO of Johnson & Johnson. Oh, I know, I've heard of that company, huh? Yeah, my hair looks so beautiful because of your product. Joaquin Duato, $55 billion manufacturing plant and research and development and technology. Thank you very much, $55 billion. That's a lot. But you got to catch up with Apple and some of the others. We got to get you to make a little, one of the few companies that could do that, right? Chair and CEO of Eli Lilly, a great guy. Every time I talk to him about drug prices, he sweet talks me. He tells me about the middleman. The middleman keeps telling me about the middleman. By the time I leave the meetings, I was telling my people, I say, gee, he's giving us a great bargain. You know, but David, you have done some job. David Ricks, you have done some job. I'll see you later, too. $27 billion doubling its manufacturing investment in the U.S., and he's got a very hot topic right now going, don't you? This stuff is doing really well, isn't it? Really hot company. Thank you very much, David. CEO of Novartis, Vas Narasimhan, and that's $23 billion. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vas. CEO of Genentech, Ashley Mugargi, $50 billion. Whoa, that's a lot of money. Good, thank you, Ashley. That's a big one. CEO of AbbVie, Rob Michael, $10 billion. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good company. President and CEO of Thermo Fisher, Mark Casper, $2 billion. Thank you, Mark, very much. Chairman and CEO of Merck, great company, Rob Davis, $9 billion. Thank you very much, Rob. Chairman and CEO of Abbott, Robert Ford, $500 million. Thank you, Robert. Chairman and CEO of a company called IBM. Arvind, where are you? Where are you? Thank you very much. That's fantastic. $150 billion. That's all? That's great. Thank you very much. You've done a great job. You've done a great job with that company, too, I'll tell you. Chairman and CEO of GE Aerospace, Larry Culp. Larry, thank you very much, Larry. And Larry's investing $1 billion in manufacturing across 16 states, and with us as we have the model of their F-110 engine, which I hear is like, I must tell you, I hear it's the hottest engine there is. You got a gold mine over there, Larry, which powers our nation's finest fighter jets and other jets. And your big engine is really something that I hear is beyond anything that has been produced yet. So good luck with it. And Larry, I think we're going to ask you to say a few words, actually. So come on up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here representing all of my colleagues at GE Aerospace. We are today 125 years old, but we are inventing the future of flight. Today, we power 3/4 of the world's commercial airlines and nearly 2/3 of the U.S. military combat jets and helicopters. So what you see here with the F-110 powers 70% of the newest Air Force F-15s and the F-16s. I know you were in Michigan just yesterday. Yeah. This is the engine that will be under wing on the F-15EX Eagle II that the Michigan Air National Guard will soon be flying. We're excited about what's happening at our company. We're investing $1 billion this year, as the President said, across 16 states, not only in our manufacturing footprint, but with so many of the small and mid-sized businesses that constitute our supply chain. There's a lot happening. We're excited about it. Mr. President, thank you for what you're doing, not only to revitalize U.S. manufacturing, but helping ensure that the U.S. aerospace industry, one of our biggest net exporters, continues to lead the world in innovation. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. And he has done a really great job. You took over a slightly troubled company, and now you've made it hot as a pistol. So that's really an amazing job you've done in a short period of time. Also with us is Chairman and CEO of SoftBank, Masa. Where's Masa? Masa, come on up here, Masa. Masa has pledged $200 billion plus another $500 billion with Oracle and OpenAI for a total of $700 billion. Thank you, Masa. Come on up, please.
Well, first time of Trump administration, we made an announcement, commitment, $50 billion. We delivered $70 billion over 4 years last time. This time, I tried to commit $100 billion, and President Trump said, "Oh, Masa, go for more." so we did that $200 billion commitment, and then right after that, we SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX together, we announced $500 billion investment. This is the largest investment for infrastructure in the United States, investment. And I think this is more than the scale. The importance is this is the largest infrastructure for the AI, which is the future of mankind, I believe. It's going to change every industry, every way of how our mankind's lifestyle of the future. I am committed. U.S. is the center of innovation. U.S. must continue the leadership of AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you very much, Master. Been a friend of mine for a long time. These guys are mover. We got to say, you are really something. It's great. We appreciate it too. It's a great spirit, great genius. Tim Cook from Apple is pledging, not only pledging, is committed to $500 billion. They're going to build plants all over the country, 7 or 8 different states. They've already started. And so I want to thank Tim. That's such a big investment for somebody that, had them pretty much in one location, as you know. Now they're coming into the United States, I believe, because of the spirit and the tariffs and the incentives. So that's Apple for $500 billion. And one of the most brilliant men that you'll ever meet, the man that's done in a short period of time something that is incredible. He's the founder, CEO, and president of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang. He's producing up to $500 billion over the next 4 years to manufacture the most powerful AI chips entirely in the USA for the first time ever. Jensen, would you come up and say a few words? This is a smart cookie.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to be here. NVIDIA reinvented computing for the first time after 60 years. In fact, Ervin at IBM knows quite well that the computer has largely been the same since the 60s. The IBM System 360 described really quite perfectly the computer that we use today. Central processing units, operating systems, the separation of hardware and software, I/O subsystems, multitasking. All of the words that we use to describe computers today were really invented in 1964, the year after my birth. Well, after all this time, we've reinvented computers again. This is what a processor looks like. It's on the right there. People say it's a GPU. That's one GPU unit, and it's 70 pounds, 60,000 parts, 10,000 watts. In order to manufacture it requires probably a couple of hundred companies in the supply chain. It is so heavy that it requires robotics to do. It's so precise. And just to test a supercomputer requires a supercomputer. And we're going to build NVIDIA's technology, the next generation of that, all here in the United States. Without the president's leadership, his policies, his support, and very importantly, his strong encouragement. And I mean his strong encouragement. Frankly, manufacturing in the United States wouldn't have accelerated to this pace. Manufacturing isn't about low-cost labor anymore. Manufacturing is about technology. And most of the factories that build these systems today are the most advanced factories in the future. And we're going to use artificial intelligence and robotics and omniverse digital twin technology to make it possible for us to create the factories of the future. And we ought to build it. We ought to build it right here. The really amazing thing is that this computer is the engine of a whole new industry. And this new industry is called artificial intelligence. And this new industry is a manufacturing industry in itself. That's a factory machine. Just as several hundred years ago, the dynamo was invented, water would come in and electricity would come out. Now electricity goes into this machine and incredible tokens come out, artificial intelligence. In order for this industry to thrive, we need to build these systems, of course, but we also need a progressive growth and industry-oriented energy policy, which this president has really put his weight behind. I really appreciate that. Without energy, we can't possibly have new growth industries. And we now have the backing of the administration, the backing of President Trump to support the creation of a whole new industry. This industry is going to enable a whole bunch of other industries. What we now call the AI infrastructure is going to revolutionize every industry that we know. All of the many CEOs in the room today are great partners of ours for that reason. We're working on artificial intelligence for many industries, from healthcare to drug discovery to life sciences, financial services, education, so many different industries. And that's going to be possible because we have the fundamental infrastructure here in the United States. And so I want to thank you, sir, for everything that you've done and the strong encouragement and the great policies that make it possible for us. Thank you, sir.
Very much. Thanks. Another brilliant man. You know, we have brilliant people here, and we like brilliant people, actually, but we have a lot of brilliant people in this group, and it's an honor to be with you. Past 100 days have been fighting to reclaim our jobs and bring our country back to a level that it's never seen before, and again renew the American dream, which is what we're doing. We have tremendous spirit. I don't know if you've heard, but it's become really quite a story. I see Pete's right over here, Secretary of Defense. We have the largest number of new enlistees or people enlisting in the military forces that we've ever had. And if you remember 6 months ago, we couldn't get anybody to sign up. That's a big turn in a very short period of time. And November 5th had a lot to do with that, and our Secretary of Defense and a lot of the people that you see sitting here really had a lot to do with that. There's great spirit. I can say that also with the police forces throughout the country. We're having a hard time filling them up. It's a dangerous job, but now we have waiting lists at almost every place. And that's an amazing accomplishment when you think. It's amazing. And when I first came here, you remember just 3 months ago, I came in and they started screaming. The fake news was screaming. They were going crazy about eggs. I don't know about eggs. What's with eggs? Tell me. They said, their cost is up 50%, and you won't have them for Easter. I said, well, I'll have to get onto it, but this isn't my problem. This is Biden's problem. I've only been here for 4 days. They're screaming at me about eggs like it was my fault. I just got here. Didn't know anything about it. We got it taken care of, and eggs dropped 87% in the last short period of time, and everybody had eggs for Easter. In fact, we had a big Easter egg hunt on the lawns. We had 48,000 people actually came. And we had a lot of eggs. I don't know how many, but there were a lot. We didn't use plastic. They said, could you use plastic eggs? This is in early January. And I see our Secretary of Agriculture is here. Would you stand up? You did a great job. You got me out of a lot of trouble. Brooke Rollins. She got me out of a lot because they were trying to blame me for eggs, and I didn't know anything about it yet. Explain it to me. But we had plenty of eggs, Brooke, right, for Easter. There was no dearth. And we have another man in the audience who's maybe the most important man in the room because he's the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, meaning he's the one that approves all your plants. And when Jensen and some of the others came in about numerous of the others, especially having to do with AI, they came in. I learned a lot. Number one, I learned we need double the electricity that we have right now for the whole country, and really more than that. I mean, 2 times would be even better. It was like unlimited thirst for electricity. And at first I said, how's that possible? But that's, whatever it is, it's possible. That machine that you say you can barely lift is, I guess, it sucks up a lot of energy. But we need more than double what we have right now. So you take all of the energy, even the energy in this beautiful, incredible, is this the greatest? I mean, no matter, I don't care where you come from with your $50 billion plant, the White House is the White House, right? You got to see in the Oval Office, if you want to take a trip down to the Oval Office, any of you come down with me, I'll show you a beautiful office. It'll blow your beautiful offices away. They'll stop and they'll say, for a lot of other reasons, but it's a beautiful place. And if you want to, I'm serious, you can do that. But I told Jensen, I told Tim, I told everybody that's building these very big, incredible plants, really plants of the future, they were talking about hooking into the grid. I said, well, the grid is old, and it's subject to mishap. Things can happen, including storms and much worse than storms. And if you want, I'll let you build your own utility plant, your own electric plant along with your building. You can build it inside of the plant or you can build it outside of the plant. And I went to Lee Zeldin right here and I said, Lee, we got to get fast approvals for these people. They're going to do the best job. They're going to have the best engineers, the best everything. We'd like to have them build their electric for them. They don't have to go outside. you become a utility. You become a great producer of electric. And if you have any extra, you put it back into the grid if you want, or you sell it back in. But you're going to be able to build, so this way we don't have to worry about, do we have enough? Because if you look at California, they have brownouts, blackouts, and everything else. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Governor doesn't have a clue. But the last thing you want to do is be hooking up to the California grid so that we can go in and you'll say, gee, we have to close down the factory for a couple of days. We have a little brownout going on. So you're going to be able to build your own plant and produce as much electric as your beautiful heart's desire. And that'll be something that nobody's done before. And we're going to ask Lee to get those approved very quickly. And he'll get it approved before you can even imagine. He's great. He's great. He knows the difference. You know, you can take years to get those approved. I would say previous to us, it would be years and years. Or you could take weeks to get them approved, and it'll be just as good. But they don't play games, and they're going to get it done, and they'll get it done very quickly. So that's going to be a big help, because you're going to have unlimited energy, unlimited electricity. And I think it's going to really, we want to stay number one. We're number one right now by a lot. I will say this, if I didn't get elected, I would say get out of the AI business fast. Get out of all business fast, probably. Maybe get out of the country fast, because this country was heading in the wrong direction, but now it's heading in the right direction. I think it's the most consequential 100 days in the history of our country in certain ways. We had an editorial from a group that normally wouldn't give good editorials to people like me. And they said he's the most consequential president because of what he's doing with all of these policies that you're reading about, long beyond the electricity and the plants, having to do with many other things like secure borders and all of the many, many things I could go down and name them. We're gonna be getting tremendous amounts of drug and pharmaceutical companies going to be pouring into the country. They're going to have to. They're going to have to, and we're going to give them a lot of time to do it. But after that, there's going to be a tariff wall put up, and they won't be happy about it. But they'll be happy if they start building right now. Right now, it's going to be build, and after a certain period of time, it's going to get tougher, and then it's going to be real hard to do business in this country. So for the pharmaceutical companies, chip companies, a lot of different companies, we're all set to really grow. Groceries are down. The grocery prices are down. Gasoline prices are down. We had some gasoline selling for $1.98 a gallon just recently in 3 different states over the last 2 days. It was at $4, and it was higher than that in some places. It was over $5. We have it way down. Energy prices are down all over the country. Mortgage rates are actually down slightly, even though I have a guy in the Fed that I'm not a huge fan of, but that's all right. These are minor details. Don't tell him I said that, please. As the cameras rock and roll back there. No, he should reduce interest rates. I think I understand interest a lot better than him because I've had to really use interest rates. But we should have interest rates go down. It would be positive, but it's not going to matter that much because ultimately what we're creating has much more to do with other things than it does just pure interest rates. But it would be nice for people wanting to buy homes and things. The prescription drug prices just saw the largest monthly decline ever recorded. So, David, I'm having a little bit of an impact, at least on you, as I just browbeat this guy. He's got he looks like he's 25 years old. He has this massive company, Eli Lilly, and it has no impact on him whatsoever. But I just see this number just came out. It's the largest monthly decline ever recorded. Yeah, but it's probably about 2%. You know, they did that to make me feel a little bit better. But I appreciate it. We have achieved the lowest number of illegal border crossings in U.S. history, and we're at a level that nobody thought we could get to in 2 years, let alone a couple of months. And I think Kristi Noem is here someplace. Where is Kristi? She's here. Stand up, Kristi. And Tom Homan. And I see Linda. Stand up, Linda. You are doing so good. Education. We're bringing education back to the States, where it belongs. and she's been incredible. She's very upset with Harvard. They have $53 billion in a fund, and yet they want more grants. And it looks like we're not going to be giving them any more grants, right, Linda? And, a grant is at our discretion, and they're really not behaving well, so it's too bad. But our country is roaring like never before. Nobody's ever really seen anything like this. And again, the big thing is whether it's $8 trillion or even more than that, by the end of the year, it could be a number that would be, I think it's already, there's never been anything like it, but this is in a period of a couple of months. I think by the end of the year, the numbers will be just staggering. It's really going to be something very special, and I'm very honored to be with you. And I'd ask if anybody has any questions, please. This is your time. This is your time. You'll be live on television, all the fake news back there. Now that'll keep them down, right? That's the way to keep them down, unless they're bad people, in which case, unless they want to make some news. Would anybody have any questions? Anybody? Business leaders? You want to know anything about depreciation? No? I love it. We've done such a good job, we don't have to take. Howard, would you like to say a couple of words, please?
The president talks about $8 trillion coming into America. And there's only one reason it's coming in. It's because he's finally set an industrial policy for the United States of America. We are the greatest economy in the world. We finally have a president who understands that we need to reindustrialize. We need to be made in America, made in the USA. And you feel it. You feel it with these leaders. You feel it across all your peers. Everyone feels it. It's coming back to America, and we are going to be rocking. So thank you, sir.
Great job. Great job. So thank you very much, everybody. And for the business leaders, if any of you would like to come down to the Oval and say hello, if you've never seen it, if you have seen it, just go home and enjoy your lives, count your money. But if you'd like to come down, I'm heading down there now. And again, thank you very much, everybody. Pam, you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Interesting that his last statement as he walked away was congratulating Pam, you're doing a fantastic job. All the people in the room, congratulations. So something must be coming, because this guy is the master of trolling, the master of communications. I want to bring something to your attention. We were talking. See if you remember this.
And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
Maybe that's why that picture was on the wall. Maybe that's specifically why he left that picture of Obama on the wall. Notice he opened it up for questions. I don't know if it was to the media as well, but what can you say? Well, the Maryland man, have you heard the Democrats talk anything about making this country more prosperous? And I put it in the chat, and I really want you to remember this, because this is very important. As much as the Democrats, the media, all try to say, oh, the sky's falling, the economy sucks, the tariffs aren't working, all this negative stuff, I want you to ask why the brightest minds, the richest of people, are parking trillions in the United States. I've never invested in something that was a failure. Nope. I bought foreclosures to turn them around. I believed in the market. I've never bought a stock and like, I hope this, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Hey Rob, you want to put some money in this thing? It looks like crap. Nope. You don't have those discussions. The discussions you have, quote, when you make deals are how can I improve on my investment? I'm not lending America. I'm not doing anything special except I'm building my business, and I think this is a good place to do it. So you have to ask yourself, and you can ask your liberal friends, your liberal family members, your liberal coworkers, yeah, you're right, Trump sucks. Yeah, he's stupid. And all these... Can I ask you a question then? Yeah. Why do you think all these people who aren't stupid, who've got billions and trillions of dollars, why are they investing in him? And then sit back and watch them just turn into some sort of human version of the game Twister because they can't get out of it. These are very simple questions to ask people without even promoting Trump. You can even agree, yeah, he's stupid. Yeah, he's a 34 times convicted felon. Yeah, he did this thing with E.G. and Carroll. You're absolutely right. Why would people be giving him trillions of dollars? And they can't answer that. Well, most of them will probably say, what are you talking about? You see, everything you just saw there, unless you promote it, unless you send out that message, it's likely most people won't see it. The media is not going to cover this stuff. They're not this many. It might get around on YouTube. People who watch my videos and other people's videos, that we may spread it, but it's not being blowhorned out to mega numbers of people until you begin spreading it. I bet you ask some of your coworkers, your friends, your family members, hey, do you know how much the NVIDIA has put into investing in America? They probably say to you, what's NVIDIA? I'm pretty sure a lot of the purple-haired, screaming river to the sea nuts, hey, what do you think about NVIDIA and what they did today? What? NVIDIA. What gang is that? I'm not sure of them. They don't even know. They're completely obstinate. They don't want to be taught that. Business. Oh, you mean those oligarchs? Those oligarchs that are making money and there's a reason behind the madness that AOC and Bernie are spewing out there. Because they want people to think what you just heard is bad. And so it's very simple. The Democrats are so anti-America, they want it to fail. They want you dependent upon government. It's really sad. I bought 40 NVIDIA shares. The African-American guy on Fox who said President Trump is a felon. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was earlier I played that. You can't talk to these people. They're gone. They're done. I don't know how many felons you've known, but would you give them $1 million, billion, gazillion dollars if they had some ideas? No. Why are these people surrounding themselves with Trump? Pretty simple. I advised my youngest daughter about investing in NVIDIA. She did, and very happy. Again, so now, before I go, you've heard it. And I've been probably one of the few people who've been preaching it. You better get on this AI train. You better get on this AI train. I don't have $500 billion. But I'm listening to people who do have $500 billion. And between the people in that meeting and the other guy who's flying rockets around, while you people, not you, but while these people are out there burning Teslas, they should be wondering, oh, should we be listening to Elon? You know, the guy who can park rockets and he's buying all these different properties to build data centers? That guy from NVIDIA, let me see if I still have the article here so I could bring it up. The guy who's talking about NVIDIA. Okay. He showed you, if you remember, he just showed you one GPU. One, right? And he said that one GPU takes, what did he say, 10,000 watts? Just for that one GPU. All right, let's put this in perspective. And he showed you. He said this one GPU requires 100 different companies to put different parts in this thing. You heard him, right? Right? Okay. So you got this little thing, looks like R2D2, whatever you want to call it. And it weighs 70 to 100 pounds, and it's got all these components, and it takes 10 gigawatts of power to blah, 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 blah. And it was one. Right? What? Okay. So I showed you this a couple days ago, and I saved it. Elon Musk massive AI data center gets unlocked. XAI gets approved for 150 megawatts of power, enabling 100,000 GPUs. So I want you to imagine for yourself, what's that? 100,000. He talked about one R2D2 sitting there that needs to be built by 100 different companies. One. And Elon just is putting 100,000 in one building. And he's bought 2 of these buildings. That's kind of massive. And he's like talking about all the different things that these people are doing. And this was the second one that Elon bought. Elon buys 1 million square foot site for a second Memphis data center. Let me see if it says how many GPUs. Oh, this, there you go. Look at this one. This one. The new data center could host up to 350,000 GPUs. The first one was a little small. Just going to hold about 150,000. The second one is a mega data center. It's going to hold 350,000 little R2D2s running around. And this is just one guy. And now you got NVIDIA, and you got all these different companies, TMSC. I mean, they're all doing it. It's incredible. I mean, I don't know what else people need to see. You better get on this train. Get on it quickly. Don't even delay. What did SV just send me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Oh. Boom. Boom. Breaking. United States and Ukraine sign the deal. Maybe today might be the day to stay away from your liberal friends. You don't want to talk to them right now, okay? Because where's that gift when I need it? With them screaming. It's a bad day. It's a bad day in liberal town. My goodness. OMG. The deal is it? I'm looking more to see. I'm not doubting Benny, but is it signed or is it just talked about? Are they actually talking about it? Yeah, Charlie Kirk says it too. It's everywhere. The United States and Ukraine have signed the final agreement for rare earth minerals. And that's with Bloomberg News. The deal will grant the United States privileged access to new investment projects to develop Ukraine's national resources, including aluminum, graphite, oil, and natural gas. So let me just tell you something. There's a reason why all of this happened after 4 p.m. Now, I'm not your lawyer, and I'm not your accountant. But if you have and have been trading, yeah, you might want to get ready for tomorrow morning. I'm just saying. You know how you can always usually tell. Let's see what has happened in the last couple of minutes, because the few different things that trade 24/7, man, whoa, wow, 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 wow. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Man. Yeah, it's after the stock market closed. What does this mean between the war between Ukraine and Russia? It's probably about to stop. Because now President Trump says, whatever you two had, I've got to deal with Zelensky. And we got all these fields filled up with our stuff. Y'all need to stop. So that's probably imminent as well. It's wow. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, hold on. Let me do this first.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
And meanwhile, they're still talking about the Maryland man. That's what they're going to be talking about. SV just put up some story that they're like, there's a Reuters drone that happened to be flying over, where a detention center was, found a scratch SOS in the sand. All right, yeah. Shut up about the illegals. Shut up. Nobody cares. What? Wait a minute. Somebody, SB had sent me this too earlier. Okay, hold on. MS-13 deported Abrego Garcia, Maryland man, said he could kill his wife and no one could stop him. Abrego Garcia's wife filed they found more stuff here, domestic violence petitions before his deportation, detailing years of abuse, threats, and even locking their kids in a basement. She said he told her mother he would kill her with zero consequences and claimed she has the recording. Lawyers and Democrats painted him as a loving dad from Maryland. The court's docs say MS-13 smashed TVs, busted windshields, and bruises. Y'all keep dealing with that. I'm a focus on the billions and trillions of dollars that are coming to America. That's why I changed my focus. All that meat over there, with that stale, putrid meat that everyone's chasing. Why do you want to keep hearing about that? They got nothing. Tomorrow I'll show you 20 videos of them screaming and crying and lamenting and saying this, and the polls are down. I mean, even Mark Mitchell at this point came out with something, and I'm pretty sure what Mark said was that these polls are just complete crap. And let me see if I can find what Mark said. It was very interesting. He dropped something earlier. It's with the People's Pundit. So he and Rich Barris both started talking about that in terms of how it's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. Don't even bother looking. All right, so let me go ahead because we got one more show today. So I'm going to cut this one short so I can get out of here because we've got the town hall tonight. I don't know how this guy does it. I'm exhausted right now. And we got another show tonight. We got a show that's coming on at 7:30. So I have an hour and a half to go kiss the wife, walk the dog, and get back on here for the 7:30 show. Because I'm sure you're going to want to see. And I can tell you in advance, that one will be on time because it's on television, on a broadcast. And it's very interesting that he decided to do a show with... he's been doing them all over the place, but he's done a show with another broadcaster, who hasn't been friendly to him. He sliced and diced ABC News last night, but now he's going to go talk to, I guess, Chris Cuomo. So he just does it and he lets them deal with it because I think I know what he's doing. I think I know what his modus operandi is here. It's something I mentioned to you as well. Build the tent. Build that tent, even if you siphon off 1%, 2% of the viewers, and they become Trump supporters. They're done. They're absolutely done. Maybe done forever. All right, let me show you this. I just want to say thank you to the fanfare community. And if you're new here, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you. If you watch my videos, you've probably realized at this point that this isn't your usual podcast. The difference is that every single day, I try to make this show an open conversation amongst friends. You see, I believe that speaking to friends here and in your own circle offline is the best way to push back against all the lies being told by the Democrats and the media. I encourage people in this community to welcome each other, and in doing so become a source of support for those seeking to unplug from the matrix. If you'd like to communicate on a deeper level, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, but if you'd really like to surround yourself with like-minded patriots, join our free and private X group by going to fanfareshop.org/group. When you join this free group, a few things will happen. One, if you haven't used X before, you can use X without venturing into the sewer that it sometimes can be. Two, you can share content with friends that you meet here. 3, you will get notified every time I go live, so you can't count on YouTube notifications. And 4, and this might be most important, you get content that I can't share on YouTube or Rumble. So please take a moment and join our free and private X group. Just go to fanfareshop.org/group. Remember, it's members only. There are 16,000 plus people in that group right now, getting close to 17,000. To join our free and private members only X group, just go to fanfareshop.org/group. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so thank you guys for hanging out. Jeanette, Barry, I'll be 60 this year. I'm excited to learn AI. Awesome. Tamara, my name is Tamara Seymour White. I heard your podcast and it hit me, and God told me to contact him. I'm an actor, producer, script, and supervisor. I think I can be beneficial. All right, well, send me an email to fanfare showmail, just like it sounds, at fanfareshop.org. Thank you, Tamara. Tamara, again, Wayne Moore, number 79, 2 Super Bowl rings. So he's probably an offensive tackle. Nice, very nice. Thanks, Tamara. Yeah, send me an email to showmail at fanfareshop.org. How Granny sees. Dream up a biz based on headlines, like replace something Amazon imports, make it in U.S., sell on your website, ask Grok for a business plan and baby steps on 58 tech challenge. If I can do it, you can. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Tommy, hope you're feeling better. MSM was a part of it. They were instrumental in the fraud, the big lie. We saw it, spoke up. Individuals with a phone camera we knew, and they didn't. Yeah, where's our Pulitzer? Good point. NJ Sound, mainstream media is forever gone. Bill Clinton made this mess with his FCC change. They're done. Kelly Panetsky, thank you. And Granny C, let me see here. Tell Grok your skills and what you do. Over to do, then ask what biz you can start with little to no money and give you a step-by-step plan. Good prompt. Very good prompt. Daryl Coda, we need more fitters and welders, don't have enough. All right, we'll go to a trade school or something, and you can do that as well. All right, so I'm going to start the after party because I got to jump quickly here. I would take more comments, but I got to be live at 7:30 and got to do some things around the house. So show number 3 in an hour and a half. We'll be, you guys are welcome to join us. All right, talk to you then.
Thank you.